So as you're fasting and the cells are repairing, fast tonic will bring hydrogen into the cell and mobilize the toxins and make that cell reboot it, give it a little more energy, and move the healing process, accelerate the healing process. Dr. Mindy here, and on this video, I'm going to go through my 5 favorite hacks to make your fasting efforts more effective. And this one is specifically for women because if you've been following me here, hopefully you know that women have to do fasting a little different than men. And so we actually have to lean into some hacks a little bit more to get the most out of our fasting lifestyle. So welcome if you're new to my channel, super happy you're here. If you're not familiar with my work or what my channel stands for, I am on a mission to teach 1 million people how to build a fasting lifestyle. I feel very strongly that women and men need to fast different. Both women and men can benefit from fasting. The different ages that you're at, you need to fast a little different. And on this video, I'm going to show you the 5 hacks that I love. And as always, you guys, if you love this video, send it out into the world. We are all tied together through health. So let's get healthy together so we can get happy together. So welcome, and let's dive right in. Okay, ready? 5 strategies. So let's start with this concept. I just mentioned it in the intro. Women and men need to fast differently. I want you to know that when we're talking about women, there's 3 categories of women that I'm talking about. And I'll bring this in as I go through these 5 hacks. So the first category is women under 40. The second category is women 40 to 55 in her perimenopause, menopause years. And then over 55, women that are post-menopausal. So you'll see that there's some nuances here depending on what time of life you are. So the first thing that I would say, the key for a woman, regardless of her age, to succeed at fasting and get the most out of it, is you want to stabilize your blood sugar even well before you start to fast. Now, what does that look like? So that looks like you want to make sure you are upping your good fats. That is the most important part of stabilizing blood sugar is how much fat are you eating? How much fat is going into your diet? And is it the good fat? Bad fats make you insulin resistant. Good fats will stabilize your blood sugar. So a couple of my favorite hacks for good fats is, you guys have heard me talk about Andreas seed oils. These come in like really nice little glass containers. I will take a seed oil and drizzle it over an avocado. I'll drizzle it over salad. So whenever I'm eating, I look at my plate and I ask myself, how can I improve the oil content? How do I bring this up? So you can do tablespoons of this oil, but you want to first dive into increasing oils. Second thing, this is my new favorite. These are called keto cups, and there's a lot of different fat bombs like this, but I often will break my fast with something like a keto cup, which is just pure fat. And the reason that I like to lean into these keto cups or something like that throughout the day is I find that it'll just stabilize my blood sugar, so the next day of fasting will be so much easier. So if you are trying to fast and struggling to go for longer period of times, or maybe you're struggling to even get into intermittent fasting, I want you to think, before you think about taking carbs out, before you modify protein, I want you to think about your good fat. How can you up your good fat and bring your bad fat down? The other one that I use is the MCT oil, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, hack number 2. You want to know what your hormonal needs are at all times. Now, if you're under 40, I'm going to encourage you to fast for your cycle. And we are coming out with a circle that will show you how to do that. So stay tuned, follow me on Instagram, because that will be the first place that I put out the fasting circle for women. But we've talked about this on my platform before. And so go back and look at the women and fasting videos. You want to make sure that you're fasting at the right time of your cycle and that you're not fasting at the wrong times. The most simple way to say this is in a 30-day cycle for women under 40. day 1 till about day 15, you can pretty much fast. But then on the back half of your cycle, especially as you get closer to your period, you're going to have a harder time of fasting. So you're going to want to we have a couple other tricks we recommend. So go watch those videos, but know your hormonal setup. Now, perimenopausal women, it is more important than ever that if you go anywhere from 15 days for your cycle and then 60 days at another time, that you are tracking your cycle and you are clear when progesterone levels are low and when cortisol is high. So the perimenopausal woman is really sensitive to cortisol levels, more than any other woman, so 40 to 55. So if you are under a tremendous amount of stress, that day, you're not going to want to try to do a longer fast. You may not want to fast that day. But the hack for you is that on the day that you are not stressed, then man, you should lean into more longer fasts. But a lot of stress and fasting don't go hand in hand. So look for the days that you are not under a tremendous amount of stress and make those your longer days of fasting. And then women over 55, I highly recommend a Dutch test. Know your hormonal levels and make sure that you're minding progesterone. Make sure 1 day a week you're stepping out of a fasted lifestyle and you're leaning into hormone building foods. So post-menopausal women can really fast at almost any time, but you still have to be mindful that you can tank progesterone and it'll make fasting more difficult. So you want to have some variation. So number 2 is know your hormones, know where you're at. Okay, number 3, this is one of my favorite, power up your coffee. So check this out. There's some really cool hacks around coffee, and you can do a couple of cups in the morning if that works for your adrenals. So MCT oil. I like Dave Asprey's Bulletproof MCT oil. Putting a couple of teaspoons of that in your morning coffee is going to help to kick you into the ketogenic energy pathways, get you more ketones. When ketones go up, your hunger will go down. So add some oil in the morning. Then there's a second cup of coffee you can have a couple of hours later. Maybe it's decaf, but in this second cup of coffee, I want you to try something. And this is a little hack I learned from Dave Asprey. You can go see his podcast interview that he did on the Resetter podcast. And he blends that second cup of coffee up. He puts it with MCT oil and inulin. So this is huge. I've never spoken of this on any video here on YouTube. Inulin is a fiber in the gut that will help to manage blood sugar and will help with hunger. So the inulin that I like is called FBR. If you want the link for that, just put FBR in the comments and we'll send you the link. But get a blender, put a cup of coffee, put your MCT oil, maybe you do a tablespoon. This is maybe your lunch snack. And then add in a teaspoon of this inulin, blend it all up and drink it like a smoothie, like a frothy smoothie. And now that acts like lunch. So you can use that. You've had your fat in the morning. You've now leaned into this fat bomb at lunch. Maybe the day before you added all your good fats in, and now we're really stabilizing blood sugar and we're making it easier for you to fast longer and longer. Okay, my 4th tip is drink your nutrients. So remember when we're fasting, we're not eating. Now we have that cool smoothie, shake coffee smoothie hack I just gave you. But what else? A lot of fasting is just mental. So I really like a couple of tricks. LMNT is one of my new favorite minerals packets. You just open this up. I put it in a container of water in the morning, and I'm just drinking it all day long. It won't spike your blood sugar. It adds the minerals back in. I find it helps with the boredom in the brain, and it will move me past that little hunger spot that I get at 10 in the morning sometimes when I'm fasting. So try leaning into some of the added minerals. The other thing is thank you to Peak Tea. They've come up with a whole fasting line. So go check out their teas. And again, really important for boredom. I had a great interview with Simon Chang who on the Resetter podcast, and he talked about they created this whole fasting line so that people could have something to help them over the mental hurdle. So if you want to know what you can put in your water, just put drink nutrients in the comments and my team will show you these links as well. The other really cool drink hack that we haven't really talked about much on here is a product called Fast Tonic. And Fast Tonic is neat because it's hydrogen water. So as you're fasting and the cells are repairing, Fast Tonic will bring hydrogen into the cell and mobilize the toxins and make that cell reboot it, give it a little more energy, and move the healing process, accelerate the healing process. So in my academy, people love the Fast Tonic as this little snack, as they call it, in the afternoon to get you over the hurdle if you're trying a 24 or a 36-hour fast. So check out Fast Tonic. My last thing that I want to point out is that if you are really diving into this fasting lifestyle, a couple of good tricks are to monitor how you're measuring your health. Keto Mojo. Make sure you're looking at your blood sugar. Make sure you're looking at your ketones. That can help you understand where you are in this process of fasting. NutriSense. You guys saw me. For a month, I wore a continuous glucose monitor. Love those. It also gives you motivation because it's feedback as to how you're doing. And then the other trick we've been using in our Reset Academy is the Whoop band. Looking at Whoop to see if your HRV is really bad one day, then don't try to go into a longer fast the next day. That might be too difficult on your nervous system and your fasting efforts may be really challenging. But then maybe you recovered, you look at your Whoop or you look at your Oura Ring and you recover really well. The next day you're like, yeah, I don't have a stressful day, I'm gonna fast all day, and you can lean into some of these other hacks as you're going along. But this is a dense video, and I wanted you guys to have some checklist strategies. So let me know if that helps. If you want anything that I talked about in here, anywhere from the Keto Mojo links to the NutriSense, just put it in the comments and my team will come in. And April 6th, the Menopause Reset. This is your lifestyle book on what you need to do over 40 so that you don't build disease, you get yourself out of weight loss resistance, you start sleeping better, you avoid the hot flashes, and you get out of irritability. The Menopause Reset was the 5 things that I implemented in my life as I moved through my 40s to make sure that I managed my menopause symptoms with grace. So, as always, hope that helps.